Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning, good afternoon, or good night, or whatever ungodly hour you find yourself listening. We are the Bards Against Humanity, here to strum your lute and absolutely wreck your ear holes. So prepare for a podcast that's going to hit harder than a nat one in bed, because we're coming in your ears.
That's right. Today it is. That's right. Today it's myself, of course, Leo. Start it again.
It happens to the best of us.
I don't know. Today, obviously, I'm here, Leo, making mistakes as per usual. And of course, I'm joined here today with Dan.
Yeah, and it wasn't my fault the intro got fucked up this time.
I just got confused. You were a little quiet, and then I bunched your sound up for me, and I just made so many sounds. If it doesn't come through the recording, I just sound like a dick. But if it does, at least we can edit them out.
Hell yeah.
All right. Today last week obviously went through the Warlock, and we looked at the Eldritch Invocations and it was like, whoa, this is a lot. So today's episode is specifically for the Invocations. Nothing else.
Probably be a little bit of a shorter episode than we usually do, but it would have made the main base class Warlock episode much longer than it already would have been.
Yes, and just in case you did miss last week's episode, this is what an Eldritch Invocation is. So for Warlocks, now it's at level 1, is when you get them. They're pieces of forbidden knowledge that imbue you with abiding magical ability or other lessons. You gain one invocation of your choice, such as Pact of the Tome. As an example, we'll go through all of them, don't you worry. Invocations are described as the Eldritch Invocation options selection in this class's description. So there are prerequisites. If an invocation has a prerequisite, you can meet it to learn that invocation. For example, having a certain level in Warlock. You can replace and gain invocations, that whenever you gain a Warlock level, you can replace one of the invocations if you're not feeling it. You can't replace an invocation if it's prerequisite for another invocation that you have. That'll come into play. Of course, later throughout this episode, we'll call them out. Whenever you gain a Warlock level, you gain more invocations of your choice. As you can see, there is a whole table, which actually we should probably go through first before diving in straight into the invocations. And you can't pick the same invocation more than once unless it specifically says so.
Ooh.
Ooh.
And just another little thing to note, that if you folks stick around to the end of the episode, we do have a little bit of an exciting announcement. So yeah, the invocations are cool. They're little customizable options that you can add to your Warlock as you level up, and kind of make your Warlock unique to, say, someone else that might be playing a Warlock in the party. You can add a few things that you like to your toolkit.
It gives real Battle Master vibes. So, like when you hit level 1, you will get one Eldritch Invocation. A big jump, in my opinion, is when you get level 2, you can actually pick up an extra 2 invocations, which I think is a bit wild. They go up as to, once you hit level 5, you get 5, 7, 6, level 9, 7, level 12, 8, level 15, 9, and of course, level 18, you get your 10, which will be the most you'll be able to have to wield at one time.
Which is pretty cool. Good. So that's 10 extra options you can add to your class, which is great. You pick and choose. They're
very flavorful. They're very tasteful. Don't worry. And it will give you a load of different options for how you want your Warlock to work.
Yeah.
So Dan, what's the first one? We're going to do this alphabetically because there's so many, and with the prerequisites, it's all over the place. I tried doing it. It looks like a clusterfuck, so we're doing it alphabetically.
Exactly. So just to note, not all of these invocations have changed, and a lot of them didn't actually make it into the 2024 handbook. So we're just going to go over what's the new, as we always do, and compare it to the old version of it, if there is any fucking change whatsoever. So for the first one, we have everyone's golden child of the Eldritch Invocations, Agonizing Blast. So beforehand, the prerequisite was you needed to know the Eldritch Blast cantrip. And so when you cast Eldritch Blast, you can add your Charisma modifier to the damage it deals on a hit, which usually your Charisma is in and around 16 when you start off as a Warlock. So if you got this Eldritch Invocation early, you could be adding an extra +3 to each of your Eldritch Blast beams. So for each beam that Eldritch Blast had, was an extra 3 damage on top, or whatever your charisma modifier was, which starts to add up very, very quickly. Now, in the new and improved version, I would say it's kind of improved because they've changed it a little bit. Now, the prerequisite is level 2 plus, a level 2 or higher Warlock, and a Warlock cantrip that deals damage. So now you choose one of your known Warlock cantrips that deals damage, and you can add your charisma modifier to that spell's damage roll. And this is a repeatable invocation. So you can gain this invocation more than once. Each time you do so, choose a different eligible cantrip.
I like it. Now, I remember when I first read it, I was like, this could be a huge game changer, considering you could choose. It was the repeatable part that threw me, where it was, I thought you might be able to pick and choose on the fly rather than have to pick it up again for a different cantrip. So yeah, I don't know how useful this change is, because you are just going to choose Eldritch Blast because it is one of the best cantrips.
Yeah, the way the interview about the changes to the invocation went, they made it sound like this, like as they said, is like this can apply to any Warlock cantrip. But when the official material came out, it was you can choose Agonizing Blast as many times as you want, and you choose it per cantrip that you want to be affected by it. So it's nice that you can choose other cantrips, but it's effectively just when you choose it, you're just probably going to make it give Eldritch Blast your charisma.
Yeah, it's I think it's a bit of a shame. I think it could have been super interesting. While now it's an option. Don't get me wrong. It's absolutely an option. I enjoy it's a little bit of an improvement, but I don't know if it goes a full number up, if that makes sense. If it was an 8, I think it still stays an 8.
Yeah.
As an invocation.
Yeah, it doesn't fit the whole. You can make it this affect any Warlock cantrip. It's like you can, as long as you choose it more than once.
Yeah, just choose it again. Oh, okay.
Choose it again, and potentially
of course,
lose
this tale is available. Just not for you.
Just lose out on other invocations that you may want more, just so that you can have, say, like if I can't remember if Firebolt is on the list, but if you can have like Firebolt.
Yeah, I don't know because I'm pretty certain. So I think it's obviously a change. I just don't know how much of a useful change it is, if that's the best. I don't know. Anyway,
we'll agonize over Agonizing Blast later.
Yeah, we will. Next up, there is. I'll keep going until we find one that's actually truly different, because the next one is Armor of Shadows. There is no prerequisite for it, and you're able to cast Mage Armor on yourself without expending a spell slot, exactly as it was in 2014. Now, granted, in 2014 they also included material components, but you still cast Mage Armor on yourself without expending a spell slot. That phrase is going to come up a lot. I'm going to trip up on that quite a bit, I assume.
We will.
Which is great.
Yeah. Mage Armor is always nice for any spellcaster to have, so it means you don't necessarily need to have any armor. You can just focus on, say, like other cloths or materials that may give you benefit. But yeah, Mage Armor is just your unarmored AC becomes 13 plus Dex.
And it lasts for 8 hours, which is a long ass time.
Yeah. Usually your time between long rests, so you might as well just have it up.
So now we then move on to Ascendant Step. This does have a prerequisite change, because prior you used to have to be 9th level, but now you only have to be 5th level. And once again, it is you can cast Levitate on yourself without expending a spell slot. It's interesting that they've dramatically lowered the level required for it.
Yeah, because it's only a level 2 spell. It's only a level 2, not spell slot. It's only a level 2 spell.
Yeah.
Which was crazy to me that they had it at level 9. Like, oh no, levitating up to 20 feet in any direction per turn is... Oh, that's a bit too much.
Oh no. But how will the big bad cope with it all?
Who knows? Huzzah.
Huzzah.
Yeah. And being able to cast Levitate is just nice. You don't necessarily need to cast on yourself. You can cast on other objects to make them slightly easier to carry. It's a nice utility spell.
Yeah, but it's a really handy one. It's a real as an invocation. I think as we'll go through the rest. I don't think it'll be picked often, unless I'm trying to see an interesting one. Could you, if you're falling from a great height, can you cast levitate on yourself and be grand? Is it like, could you bullshit a feather fall?
Potentially, yeah, I think so.
So that's helpful. That's nice. But that's what we're looking at here, lads. That's nice.
Is it nice? Yes, good in my book.
Good in my book. It is doing nothing bad. I like it. I like it. What happens next, Dan? I've gone through 3. It's your turn.
Oh, yay. So the next one is up. They skipped a load of the season bees, so we lost out on a couple of cool ones, but I think they got rid of a load of ones that just gave you a free cast of a spell for, in my opinion, no fucking reason. But next up, we have Devil's Sight. Beforehand had no prerequisites, and you can see normally in darkness, both magical and non-magical, to a distance of 120 feet. That is still the exact same, except now it has a prerequisite of level 2+, so you can't just start a campaign off with Devil's Sight. You have to wait until you get your two extra invocations at level 2. God damn it.
Yeah, I it's an interesting prerequisite to have, and I'll be curious to see if it kind of continues on like that. But it's seeing in the dark is fun and helpful, but not at level 1. I can probably see some very niche like campaign starts. So niche.
Starting in dim light or darkness, and you're like, oh well, I can see. What do I see? I have dark vision.
Yeah, you'll be saying that in like a month's time. I now have dark vision. Show me what I see. Show me what I see. Tell me what I see.
Yep.
Next.
Yeah, go for the next one.
Next one up is Devouring Blade. So this one seems to be a new one, which is great to see. Now, the prerequisites for this one is that you're level 12 or higher Warlock, and you already have a Thirsting Blade invocation, which we will get to, but it's a T, so it'll take a while. The extra attack on your Thirsting Blade invocation confers 2 extra attacks rather than 1, which is massive.
Yeah. So a Pact of the Blade Warlock can attack 3 times instead of just twice. Because beforehand, when you took Thirsting Blade, I think it was level 5 or higher, and you had to have Pact Magic, it only granted you 1 extra attack. So it only granted you 1 extra attack, so Hexblades could only attack, say what, twice?
Twice, yeah. Huge. Now that's an invocation.
Yeah.
That's a serious invocation.
Yeah. And the prerequisite for it being level 12 is fine, because level 11 is when the fighter gets their 3rd attack. And when cantrips upgrade to their extra damage dice to 3 of the damage dice.
Yeah, I'm super chill with that. It's, being able to get your 3rd attack at level 12. Yeah, and I think maybe that's why. Is there a jump? There is a jump at level 12. It'll be interesting to see if the prerequisites correlate with the jump, where you get an extra invocation, or if they're kind of just willy-nilly and kind of suit the game more than suit how many you get, because you can change them. So far, we've not seen a non-jumped prerequisite, but I'm hoping it comes, because otherwise, what's the point of being able, truly use the concept that you can change your invocations, where you may not get more you might not get more invocations, but you can change it, like let's say at like level 6, because you still only have 5, but you now have access to the tickle invocation. Actually, I have a whole list of them in front of me. Why did I not just choose a real one?
So you went for the tickle invocation.
Yeah, the giggle fit invocation.
Because apparently your patron is now Elmo. Every night when you sleep, all you hear is he's just like tickling you.
Oh, just like... Christ, that's the shit of nightmares.
That is the shit of nightmares, and that right there is a concept I want to play around with. Tickling Elmo as your patron. Think about that now.
Oh, God. Moving on. I'm just going to move on to the next one. Next one's Eldritch Mind. We do skip another of the previous ones, but we move on to Eldritch Mind. There are no prerequisites, and you have advantage on Constitution saving throws that you make to maintain concentration. That's what it is now in 2024, and that's exactly what it is in 2014.
Yeah. It is a really, really handy thing to be able to have advantage on advantage on Constitution saves for concentration, which is fantastic because a good chunk of Warlock spells actually have concentration attached.
And you can get it at level 1?
Yeah. And especially if you do end up deciding to take Ascendant Step or Levitate. Levitate is a concentration spell.
Thank God for that.
Yeah. I took it because because I'm currently playing a great old one Warlock in our campaign that Killian's running, and I took Eldritch Mind when I saw it, and I was like, immediately, it's like, yes, I need that. Just because advantage on concentration saves are incredible, and especially because a lot of the spells I've taken require concentration.
Fair enough. You must have so many invocations at this stage.
So what, we're level 8? We should have, 6?
Yep.
Yeah, I think I have 6. I think I've, Ascendant Step, Eldritch Mind, Agonizing Blast, I think Eldritch Spear, and a couple of others, but we'll get to those.
We'll get to them. What do we get next?
Next, we have Eldritch Smite, with a prerequisite of a level 5 or higher Warlock with the Pact of the Blade invocation. So that was what it is both in 2014 and 2024, except the old one never specified Warlock levels. It was just a level 5, 5th level. Sorry. What it used to be was once per turn, when you hit a creature with your Pact weapon, you can expend a Warlock spell slot to deal an extra 1d8 force damage to the target, plus another 1d8 per level of that spell slot. And then you can knock the target prone if it is huge or smaller. No save required. That is the exact same in 2024.
It's the exact same.
Yeah.
I think that's really good.
It is. It is really, really good, because if you think about it, at where we are, 8th level now in that campaign, if I took that and say I was Pact of the Blade, I would be doing 5d8 extra force damage on hit and knocking them prone with no save required.
And then, because of if you chose a different invocation that we'll get to, you could attack again with an extra attack and have advantage.
Yeah, exactly. Ooh, that's a really good. Yeah.
I thought of that immediately. I'm like, okay.
Your fighter brain is going. My DM brain is just like, ooh, big damage. Ooh, conditions.
Who doesn't love a forced condition? That's right,
Exactly.
you bitch. You're prone now.
Questionable choices for words, but we'll go.
We'll move. Eldritch Spear. In 2024, there's a prerequisite of you being a level 2 Warlock and a cantrip that deals damage. So you choose one of your known cantrips that deals damage and it has a range of 10 plus feet. When you cast that spell, it range increases to the number of feet equal to 30 times your Warlock level. Once again, this is repeatable, so you can gain this invocation more than once, and each time you do so, you can choose a different cantrip. Now, of course, this is different back in 2014, when before the prerequisite was just to have Eldritch Blast, there was no level prerequisite, and you could cast Eldritch Blast, and its range, when you did cast it, it was 300 feet. What do you think about that change?
There's potential for it to, for when campaign, for if you go for a lengthy campaign to go up to level 20, that increase ends up being more than 300 feet. However, having an Eldritch Blast sniper at level what? When did you get your first invocation in 2014? Do you remember? Was it level 2?
Level 2.
Yeah. So at level 2, being able to snipe with Eldritch Blast from 300 feet away was a crazy concept. I like that it can go up to, that it can potentially be more than 300 feet. I think at maximum it can be
600.
A 600 bonus, which Eldritch Blast, I think, has a range of 120 feet. So at maximum you can have 720 feet of a snipe with Eldritch Blast. So it can potentially get more. I actually do like the change, because instead of setting your Eldritch Blast to a range of 300 feet, you quickly outpace that. But it's a invocation that grows with you.
Yes, which I like.
Yeah, because when you get it at base, your Eldritch Blast, say if you chose Eldritch Blast for that, I know people are complaining about Warlocks being an Eldritch Blast cannon, but it's just so handy.
It's so there. They're built to be an Eldritch Blast cannon.
Exactly. At base, if you have 120, you have your 120 feet base range for Eldritch Blast, and if you got it at level 2, it's increasing by 60 feet to 180. All you need is 4 more levels for it to equal what it used to be.
Yeah, I think making it repeatable is a bit weird. I just don't know what else. I know they're trying to veer off being an Eldritch Blast cannon class, but everything else is kind of built for it, if that makes sense. There's other invocations that suit nicely into Eldritch Blast. Maybe there's another cantrip that I'm just completely spacing on, but I don't get why it's simply like Eldritch Blast is perfect for all of these invocations. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Anyway, after that, we have Fiendish Vigor, which obviously for the 2014 one, we actually miss out a couple. But 2024, once again, prerequisite level 2 Warlock, where you can cast False Life on yourself without expending a spell slot. When you cast the spell with this feature, you don't roll dice for the temporary hit points, you automatically get the highest number of dice. Now this, if I remember correctly, is a 2d4 plus 4.
Let me check.
While you check that, the difference in 2014, the reason I'm saying it is because previously you wouldn't get the max die, you would simply cast False Life on yourself at first level without expending a spell slot.
It's a nice increase. Yeah, it is 2d4 plus 4, and using a higher spell slot, you get 5 additional temporary hit points for each slot above 1.
Like, that's just handy.
Yeah, just being able to cast my main gripe with False Life was it cost the spell slot to gain a certain number of temporary hit points, which can be better at lower levels when you're just using, say, like level 1 spell slots for combat. But I never viewed False Life as a very handy spell to have. At least with this change, it being the maximum of 12 at base.
Yes,
is much, much nicer.
See, now I'm curious because it doesn't say which spell slot, if that makes sense. It says that you can cast False Life on yourself without expending a spell slot. So if I have an open, I would assume they'd have to be open spell slots. But could I cast it without a level spell slot and say I'm casting it at level 5 because I have a level 5 spell slot open?
No.
So
when you're gifted,
so they're all level 1.
When you're given a free spell to cast, you cast it at its base level. If you're using it with that feature, say. So if you're using Fiendish Vigor to cast False Life, you get 12 temporary hit points. You don't upcast it. Whereas now, if you decided to cast it with a packed magic spell slot, you would then roll and gain the benefit of a higher level slot.
Yes.
I would have loved if that was the case, that we could, abuse it like that. But unfortunately,
I'm surely. I don't know. You definitely have to have it open. I don't know. I would fight my DM on that, which is you.
Yeah.
So
and I'm shutting you down, unfortunately.
But it doesn't state what, because like 2014, it highlights that you cast it at first level. I'm keeping an eye on it because if it does name out another level, what you're saying, by the way, makes sense. I'm completely there with your logic. I'm 100% there. It's just vague enough for me to fight it. Okay? I just want to put that out there.
It is
it's vague enough for me to...
I would be only willing to budge ever so slightly in cool moments.
We'll see how rule of cool it is.
We'll see how rule of cool it
anyway,
is.
What's the next one? What are we working with for our next invocation?
All right, next we got Gaze of Two Minds. So the original was you use your action to touch a willing humanoid and perceive through its senses until the end of your next turn. As long as the creature is in the same plane of existence as you, you can use your action on subsequent turns to maintain this connection, extending the duration until the end of your next turn. While perceiving through this other creature's senses, you benefit from any special senses possessed by that creature, and you are blinded and deafened to your own surroundings. Specifies willing, so that you couldn't just go up to an enemy and just say, I perceive through you now. Yeah, so now it has a prerequisite of a level 5 plus Warlock. You can use a bonus action to touch a willing creature and perceive through its senses until the end of your next turn. As long as the creature is in the same plane of existence, you can take a bonus action on subsequent turns to maintain this connection, extending it until the end of your next turn. This connection lasts. The connection ends if you don't maintain it in this way. And while perceiving through the other creature's senses, you benefit from any special senses possessed by the creature, and you can cast spells as if you were in your space or the other creature's space if the two of you are within 60 feet of each other. A nice little bonus added there.
It is. That last little sentence is super handy and does give more of a credence for why you'd choose it.
Yeah.
Otherwise, like I was reading in 2014, I'm like, this is fine, but why would I do it?
Yeah, being able to manipulate how you cast spells on any battlefield is incredible, especially if, say, like, and this also doesn't specify that you're blind and deafened to your own surroundings. You can just perceive through their senses.
Just like how it doesn't state a certain spell level, spell slot.
Yeah, Leo, you're going to lose the fight. Just fucking pack it in.
Yeah. Damn.
If I don't shut it down, it's just gonna keep happening. So yeah, being able to manipulate that, like, especially say if your fighter or your barbarian in the party went up to the front lines and they were surrounded by enemies, you could then cast spells as if they were from the barbarian space, as long as you're within 60 feet, which is just handy in every way.
Yeah, it's nice. It's nice. It's actually usable. I don't understand why someone would pick it. Just like our next one, the Gift of the Depths. It's pretty much exactly the same as it was back in 2014. In fact, it's exactly the same. What it is that you yourself can breathe underwater and you gain a swim speed equal to your speed. But you can also cast water breathing once without expending a spell slot, and you regain the ability to cast it in this way when you finish a long rest. That's super handy.
It is, and I know it's super handy because I picked it for the current campaign.
I'm not surprised. Not surprised. Like, especially if you know you're going to be near water, and let's say, how big is our D&D squad? It's like 6 people, I think.
6 people, which can all be affected by water breathing. Because I think water breathing is up to a 6 or 8. I think willing creatures, up to 10. Excuse me.
Up to 10. Jesus. Yeah. So as long as your size is, because you obviously have yourself, which you don't need to cast it on. As long as it's not bigger than 11, which I think would be terrifying. That's so many people.
Yeah. And do you know the best part about it?
What's that?
Water breathing lasts for 24 hours. So as I said to Killian, I am using water breathing every time we get up from a long rest.
See what I mean? Super duper handy. It's just super handy. Dan, what are we rocking on with next?
We are rocking on with Gift of the Protectors.
Ooh.
Yeah. So it requires a level 9 Warlock or higher and the Pact of the Tome invocation, which we will get through later. So beforehand was the exact same, except it was just 9th level. Didn't require a 9th level Warlock and Pact of the Tome. So a new page appears in your Book of Shadows. With your permission, a creature can use its action to write its name on that page, which can contain a number of names equal to your proficiency bonus. When any creature whose name on the page is reduced to 0 hit points but not killed outright, the creature magically drops to 1 hit point instead. Once this magic is triggered, no creature can benefit from it until you finish a long rest. As an action, you can magically erase one name on the page by touching it. This is the exact same. Except for it now depends on your charisma modifier instead of your proficiency bonus.
That's really nice because you're going to focus more on your charisma, and realistically, I think your proficiency goes up to what, +6? Is it?
+6. Your charisma naturally, without items or magic that states otherwise, goes up to a natural 20, which will give you a +5 modifier.
But you're more. What do you start a campaign off with? A proficiency bonus?
You start off at 2, then it goes to 3, 4, 5, and 6.
Yeah. So you could easily start off with a 3. Now, granted, it does, because you'd like to put your own name on it. Spade a spade.
I want to put my own name there. I don't want to die, but I'm going to make other people think that I don't want them to die either, so they can put their name in it.
So you kind of do want, because I think most party sizes are about like 5 or 6, which is fine. Is this highlighting how the average party size is 5 people, and then the 6 is the DM?
The average is actually 4.
So the charisma modifier covers it.
That it does.
And a lot earlier.
Well, your charisma can naturally go higher than 20 as long as you have the right set of tools. So it can potentially be more than your proficiency bonus. Your proficiency bonus is just an easier thing to scale. But I understand them tying it into charisma for, the fact that they're charisma casters.
Yeah, exactly. I don't mind it. I don't mind that change whatsoever.
Yeah. What about the next one, Leo?
The next one if memory serves me correctly. I am just double, triple checking. Perfect. I thought for a second that it was a new one, but it's not. I have found it in my notes. So the prerequisites for this one in 2024 is that you have to be a level 5 Warlock and you have to choose the Pact of the Chain invocation. So when you cast Find Familiar, you infuse the Summon Familiar with a measure of your Eldritch power, granting the creature the following benefits. Aerial or aquatic. The Familiar gains either a fly speed or a swim speed, your choice, of 40 feet. It gets, as a bonus action, you can command the Familiar to take the attack action. Whenever the Familiar deals bludgeoning, piercing, or slashing damage, you can deal necrotic or radiant damage instead. If the Familiar forces a creature to make a saving throw, it uses your spell save DC. And finally, when the Familiar takes damage, you can take a reaction to grant it resistance against that damage. Now, it's the same.
Except for the middle.
Except for the middle?
Yeah.
What's the middle?
So beforehand, it was the attacks were counted as magical for the purposes of overcoming immunity to non-magical attacks. Now they just changed the bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing to necrotic or radiant.
Yes, you're dead right. My apologies.
Which is effectively the same thing, but some things can still resist both those damage types. But
some of them can be vulnerable to them. Granted, they're more likely to be resistant to them. But I don't mind this change. I think it works. I once again, I like the change of it changing to necrotic or radiant, depending on the Warlock that you are. We're not throwing in fire and cold. We're not ice spice.
Indeed, it's a nice way to improve your Familiar with Pact of the Chain.
Yes, and it'll be, I like it. I like it. So the next one is a new one. It is Lessons of the First Ones. You receive knowledge from an elder entity of the multiverse, allowing you to gain one origin feat of your choice. You can take this invocation more than once, and if you do, you choose a different origin feat. Now, the origin feats are as follows: Alert, Crafter, Healer, Lucky, Magic Initiate, Musician, Savage Attacker, Skilled, Tavern Brawler, and Tough. I like this.
Getting an extra
I like this a lot.
origin feat is always nice, especially if you haven't already picked up Lucky and you want to pick up Lucky.
I think there's like 3 off the top of my head that I'm looking here that is super handy. But say you've got Lucky, you've got Alert, you've got Tough.
They're pretty good.
Yeah, about to say, and after that, it depends on how you do in your Warlock. You attacker. You can go Musician if you're role playing a lot. If you like the rope, you like the chains. If you're role playing a lot, I like it. I like it.
You could even take Skilled, gain 3 skill proficiencies, which the new version of Skilled is a repeatable feat.
Yeah, it's just I like it. It makes sense for the class as well. What do we get next?
Next, we get Life Drinker, which has had a little prerequisite change. Because beforehand, it required you to be level 12 with Pact of the Blade, and when you hit a creature with your Pact weapon, the creature takes extra necrotic damage equal to your Charisma modifier. Whereas now, it's a level 9 plus Warlock with the Pact of the Blade invocation, and once per turn, when you hit a creature with your Pact weapon, you can deal an extra 1d6 necrotic, psychic, or radiant, your choice, to the creature, and you can expend one of your hit dice and roll it and regain a number of hit points equal to the roll plus your Constitution modifier, a minimum of 1 hit point.
It makes more sense.
It makes more sense.
That is a Life Drinker.
Beforehand, you'd think it's like, oh, you can add your Charisma modifier to your weapon damage and you heal for the same amount, say like equal to your Charisma modifier, or you could, expend the... Even beforehand, if they just said, it's like, oh, expend a hit dice and regain that amount of HP, it would have made a lot more sense, because calling it Life Drinker when it just does extra damage made no sense. But it's good. It's extra ways to
that's Life Taker
points. Yeah, it's Life Taker, exactly.
It's got nothing to do with drinking. It's got nothing.
So what's next?
Next, we have a very, very easy one. Mask of Many Faces. The prerequisite is a level 2 Warlock. You can cast Disguise Self without expending a spell slot. And don't worry, Dan, it's exactly as it was in 2014.
Oh yeah,
Super handy, good for roleplay. I think that depends on your DM to see how it go. To see if that's kind of the story that you're playing. I don't mind it. Happy days. The next one is another very similar one, so I'm just going to go through that one as well, where there is a very weird change. This one's Master of Myriad Forms. So the prerequisite is level 5 in 2024, and you're able to cast Alter Self without expending a spell slot. Now, in 2014, the prerequisite was 15th level to do the exact same thing, which I find
Alter Self is a bit more than Disguise Self. So it literally, with concentration, alters your body, which can produce different effects. So you could breathe underwater and gain a swim speed. You could change your height, facial features, voice, all that crack. You could also gain like claws, fangs, horns, or hooves to deal extra damage.
Absolutely. Like I understand why it has to be a higher level than Mask of Many Faces. 100%. But 15th
15th level was unnecessary.
That's so far away. So far away.
Yeah.
Anyway, after that, another very simple one. We got Misty Visions, 2024. The prerequisite, level 2 plus Warlock. You can cast Silent Image without expending a spell slot, and that is exactly the same as it was in 2014. Except in 2014, there was no prerequisite.
I also took this one for the Warlock in the campaign for.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, you did? Yes.
Because I built this Warlock under the impression that we would be dealing with a lot more human foes than we would be dealing with mechanical. Hence the psychic damage, the spells that specifically target humanoids and other things.
Yeah.
I'm a lot better with dealing with Alexander the Great Adventurer, the one Frenchman in an entire army, than I am with dealing with robotic bees.
But not the robotic bees.
Anything but the robotic bees. But yeah, Silent Image is always a nice spell. It's good for subterfuge. It's good for sneaking. It's good for distraction.
I think it's very campaign specific, but but in that campaign it will work really well.
It will.
If you know. So what do we get next?
The next one is One with Shadows. So beforehand, the prerequisite is still the same except for the Warlock change in 2024. So when you're in dim light, in the old version was when you're in dim light or darkness, you can use your action to become invisible until you move or take an action or a reaction. Now it's while you're in dim light or darkness, you can cast invisibility on yourself without expending a spell slot, which is a much bigger improvement. Because beforehand, you just became invisible while you were standing still. Now it's
you can
invisible until you make an attack as well.
Which makes more sense, personally.
Much more sense.
Again, the likelihood of you being in dim light. Yes. If you're having a sneaky one and everyone's a rogue and you didn't get the memo, you can you can choose the previous two that we just spoke about, and you're right up there with the rogue. Enjoy your saving throw, dickhead. I'm invisible.
I'm invisible. Oh shit, it's area of effect.
Fuck.
Oh, that fireball's hot. Hot.
Next, we've got Otherworldly Leap. In 2024, the prerequisite is you have to be a level 2 Warlock, and you can cast Jump on yourself without expending a spell slot. Once again, very similar to exactly the same function as it was in 2014. However, in 2014, the prerequisite was level 9. Jesus.
Yeah, it was.
Jesus.
There's no need for it to be that high level, just to be able to jump further.
Absolutely fucking none.
Yeah.
Absolutely none. All right, Dan. Hit us up with the packs. Start us off.
Yes. So, for those who aren't aware, the Pact of the Blade, Chain, and Tome features have been now made invocations instead. Because beforehand, I believe at level 1 Warlock, you chose one of your pacts, your pact boon.
Yes.
And that was a feature in the base class. But nowadays, there are invocations. You can choose them. You don't have to. So, with Pact of the Blade, I'll just go over the 2024 versions, because if we go over the old version as well, we're gonna
be time.
We're gonna be time. This recording's already going long. So with Pact of the Blade, the Pact of the Blade invocation is, as a bonus action, you can conjure a pact weapon in your hand, a simple or martial weapon, melee weapon of your choice, with which you bond or create a bond with a magical weapon you touch. You can't bond with a magic weapon if someone else is attuned to it or another warlock is bonded with it. Until the bond ends, you have proficiency with the weapon and you can use it as a spellcasting focus. That is very nice. Whenever you attack with a bonded weapon, you can use your charisma modifier for the attack and damage rolls instead of strength or dex, and you can use the weapon to deal. You can cause the weapon to deal necrotic, psychic, or radiant damage or its normal damage type. That bit wasn't in the original. The changing the damage type, not the using charisma. So your bond with the weapon ends if you use this feature's bonus action again, if the weapon is more than 5 feet from you, or 1 minute from you, for 1 minute or more, or if you die, a conjured weapon disappears when the bond ends.
I like it. This is definitely more of a pack that I would lean towards more on than the other ones. Mainly because it's just the fighter and barbarian in me. Ah, yes, the sword. I know the sword. The sword, I know.
The sword, I know. It's nice. And of course, with Pact of the Blade, you can get your Thirsting Blade and Devouring Blade to get extra attacks. Make you feel a little bit more offensive on the battlefield.
Which I also like. I think they've definitely, because you get one at level 1, I assume they're more leaning towards you picking one of these packs instead of it being a feature. And you can kind of tell with a lot of the other ones being a prerequisite of level 2. Not all of them for sure, so you can avoid them if you want. But this is it's leaning you towards to pick one of these at level 1, which I have no issue with. 0.
Yeah. We'll take 0 issue, so it allows you to still function like how the Warlock used to be, with a little bit of improvement.
Exactly.
Yeah. So what's the next one?
Next one is Pact of the Chain. You learn the Find Familiar spell and can cast it as a magic action without expending a spell slot. When you cast a spell, you choose one of the normal forms for your familiar or one of the following special forms: an imp, a pseudo-dragon, a quasit, a skeleton, a slad, tadpole, a sphinx of wonder, sprite, or venomous snake. Additionally, when you take the attack action, you can forego one of your attacks to allow your familiar to make one attack on its own with its reaction.
That is an improvement on the old Pact of the Chain, if I remember correctly, because beforehand I think it was only Imp, Pseudo-Dragon, or Quasit you could choose for Find Familiar with Pact of the Chain. Now you have the addition of Skeleton, Slad, Tadpole, Sphinx of Wonder, Sprite, or Venomous Snake.
Which I think it's super nice, gives you far more individuality for your Pact of the Chain. I do find it interesting that you can technically choose both of the packs, like Pact of the Chain and Pact of the Blade. Yeah, and you could just let your Venomous Snake just go ham on this fucker. Or a Sphinx of Wonder, which I find hilarious.
Yeah, but they can only take one attack. Because they have to use its reaction.
Because it uses its reaction. But still, like, if depending on how the Venomous Snake works, you could put it in the poison condition. Could be handy.
Exactly.
But you don't have to forego so many of your attacks, if you get me. So before, like currently, you're foregoing one attack for your familiar to make an attack. But if you kind of nearly what feels like a multi-class into the 2 different packs, you can use your Thunderous Strike, which we'll get onto in a sec, to get your extra attack to attack for yourself as well as your familiar on your turn. Just a concept I thought of. There may be holes, but don't look at them. Look at me.
Don't look at the hole.
Don't look at the hole. Look at me. Well, okay,
it's going to start turning into that Tomska skit. Oh my God, where's Dave? He's in the hole.
Don't look at the hole. Look at me. So, what's the last pack, Dan? What's the last pack?
Last pact is Pact of the Tome. So, stitching together strands of shadow, you conjure forth a book in your hand at the end of a long or short rest. This book of shadows, you determine its appearance, contains eldritch magic that only you can access, granting you the following benefits. The book disappears if you conjure another book with this feature or if you die. So with cantrips and rituals, when the book appears, you choose 3 cantrips and choose 2 level 1 spells that have the ritual tag. The spells can be from any class's spell list, and they must be spells you don't already have prepared. While the book is on your person, you have the chosen spells prepared, and they function as Warlock spells for you. And you can use this book as a spell casting focus.
I like it.
Do you want to know what's really interesting? Is with Pact of the Tome, you can choose Healing Word and Cure Wounds.
Do you know what? It's a very interesting one because you can pivot towards it if you need to. Now, granted, like let's say like, oh, the cleric is there's just not enough healing in the group. You can pivot to that. No?
I immediately forgot that you can't choose Cure Wounds or Healing Word because they have to have the ritual tag.
Yeah, they have to have the ritual tag. I don't know how I feel about this particular pact. I assume I'm missing something just because of how good the other two are, if that makes sense. Surely I'm just missing something. For me, this is a really weak one, but I assume someone in the comment section below will tell me off. So that's fun.
Yeah, they'll tell us both off. Dan, you were wrong. Leo, you were also wrong.
Do you know,
here's why I have receipts.
Do you know what? I'm glad they did it in alphabetical order. I appreciate it.
Yeah, Dan first.
Next up, we are coming close to the end, but next up we have the Repelling Blast, which has a prerequisite of once again level 2 Warlock, and also a cantrip that deals damage via an attack roll. It's even more specific. So choose one of your Warlock cantrips that requires an attack roll. When you hit a larger or smaller creature with that cantrip, you can push that creature up to 10 feet straight away from you. Once again, it's repeatable. You can gain this invocation more than once. Each time you do so, choose a different eligible cantrip. And of course, back in 2014, it was just the Eldritch Blast, and there was no level prerequisite. Blah, blah, blah.
It's just your word that you can't pronounce.
It's fine pronouncing it like once or twice in a day.
But when there's multiple.
When there's multiple, is at some stage we're taking the piss.
Yeah, just a little bit.
I don't mind it. I don't. The fact that it's large or smaller, it's larger or smaller, which will encumber quite a few people, maybe other spellcasters. I think it'll be an interesting way of shutting down like a spellcaster trying to move out of a silence, maybe. But I guess you've chosen this one. Did you choose this one for our campaign?
I think I did. Yeah, it might have been. It was either Eldritch Spear or Repelling Blast, and I think it was Spear. I could be wrong.
Fair. So not even you chose it. I think it's fine. Considering you can choose 10, I might scrape in, if that makes sense. There are other invocations I choose.
Yeah.
Straight up.
The funny conceptualization, not conceptualization, sorry, the funny concept with Repelling Blast was the argument over whether Eldritch Blast counted as hitting 4 times.
Surely it does.
Yeah, so that you can push them potentially 40 feet away from you. However, just the only thing I'm going off is I've ruled it that way because it's funny. And I'm pretty sure that's the way that most people do it. But I know from when I was playing Baldur's Gate, I tried this exact build as a Warlock for a little bit of a playthrough, and it only allows you to push them 10 feet away no matter how many Eldritch Blast beams you have.
Oh, that sucks. And makes no sense because you make an attack roll 4 times because it's 4 different blasts.
Yeah, I think it was
weird.
I think it was to avoid cheese on the same enemy of just being able to knock them 30 feet back off a ledge.
I'm about to say, you've either got them off a ledge or like indefinitely, because if they only have like 30 feet of movement, you can just complete and you've really tried to make this work. If you hit 3 out of 4 times, they're never gonna hit you. If they can only hit you with the sword. So I can see why maybe they did that as a game mechanic, but it makes more sense for it to be 40 feet. Which, you know, which is funny. It's not. I'm not saying it's not funny. It's hilarious. I just.
Yeah, I think in a previous campaign, was it Xander was playing a Warlock, and I think he had Repelling Blast, and I remember was it one boss fight, I had created like a weird like magical void thing where you were just standing on like this thin platform that had like a bunch of different edges and fall off points. And he was just like, all right, Repelling Blast, I've hit 4 times, cool, he's off the edge now.
I do remember this.
Yeah, and I completely forgot that because I was I was surprised and frazzled that all 4 of them hit. I forgot that this thing had like levitate or like other stuff that could have prevented them. I was like, oh yeah, no, just one of the big threats on the board is just now gone. Cool.
Because I think the other one had levitate. We kept trying to do it, if memory serves me correctly. We kept trying to push people off edges, and then Kane ended up off the edge, and he was slowly.
You were dealing with a monk and a sorcerer, and the monk went off the edge.
But Kane had like feather fall, so he was just slowly falling.
I need someone to help. Viciously flipping people off as he was falling down.
Yeah, I need some help, please.
Oh man. Anyway, on to Thirsting Blade.
Yes.
So Thirsting Blade, I'm pretty sure is the exact same. You just require a level 5+ Warlock and the Pact of the Blade invocation, and you can attack with your packed weapon twice instead of once whenever you take the attack action on your turn. Except in the new version, they just made that so much more wordy.
Yeah. No, it's, you know what? It's solid ability. Happy days. I don't think we need to focus on it too much. It's an S tier ability invocation. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Then we have visions. We have visions. We have visions of distant realms, which in 2024 has a prerequisite of being a level 9 warlock, where you can cast Arcane Eye without expending a spell slot, and it's exactly the same. Though in 2014 the prerequisite was level 15 again, much higher level. So I do like the improvement that we can get it a touch earlier. Whether or not I'll use it is completely irrelevant. Thank you very much.
Exactly, yeah. It's just nice. It's a little thing that can spy away for you. Keep an eye on things.
But they're making it very roguish. The Warlock has very roguish vibes. If you go down that route, you can go down a very roguish Warlock, which is kind of weird.
I don't think it's necessarily too weird. It's just they have a lot of tools in their kit that does allow them to do, say, like the rogue's traditional B&E. But I can imagine, say, like 2-player characters teaming up to basically create this Warlock and Rogue combo that they're like, oh, they were thieves on the street, but the Warlock basically attained their power from some source, and the two of them basically just go around Robin Hooding the whole fucking city.
Well, it does make sense considering the Warlock is supposed to be a traveler who picks up certain skills on the road, sort of a thing.
Yeah.
So I like that it's there, but it's just funny to me that it is. Then we have Whispers of the Grave, which has a prerequisite of a level 7 Warlock where you can cast Speak with Dead without expending a spell slot, which is exactly the same as the concept in 2014. However, the prerequisite was level 9. Once again, a higher level. Not overly certain as to why, but thanks, boss, for making it 2 levels less. It's always a fun one. You can always get up to some serious shenanigans with it. Thank you.
Yeah, we've all seen the Honor Among Thieves movie. That was funny.
It was, and done so well. Done so well.
Yeah.
So Dan, what is the final invocation we're covering in this video?
Final invocation is Witch Sight, which the prerequisite has not changed. And I can understand why. This invocation gives you True Sight to a range of 30 feet. True Sight will allow you to see through illusions, see the true form of a shapeshifter, see through magic. It's basically just, I can see anything invisible, illusory, or shape-changed in my presence.
Yeah, it's I can completely understand it being 15th level. Now, granted, it might be one that you'd pick for just having it, because I think there are some feats that can give you True Sight as well. At 15th level...
I think it's an epic boon that gives you True Sight.
Oh, it's an epic boon. You're dead right.
I think so, yeah.
So you just don't need to pick up that epic boon. I think it works for whatever Warlock you want to be. I think at level 15, you kind of have chosen the path that you want your Warlock to be. So it's a nice little bonus. How much will it come into play? I don't know, just because it is so late and not many campaigns go past like level 12, which is a bit of a shame. But other than that, I'm happy days. I think it's lovely.
True Sight will always be handy, no matter when you have it.
Yeah.
Yeah. You will never be mad that you have True Sight, which is the beautiful thing about it.
So I know we mentioned last week in our Warlock episode, invocations really do make a massive difference for the class. You can create a lot more synergy, a lot more individuality. And I know last week we gave it a 6 out of 10. Do the invocations change your ratings of the Warlock?
I actually do think they do. I am willing to bump it up to an 8. I think I was being a little bit too harsh before with how it's like, oh, it's too it's too kind of like focused on customization and building your own shit, and then it's like, it's fine, it's grand. It feels like it's in more of a, like a, if you put Warlock in the hands of a competent pilot, they'll be like, a Warlock would be grand and it'd be great. But I do think that with some of the changes to the invocations, that granted they have taken out a couple of really cool ones and like improvements in the new invocations, I do think that even choosing some generic invocations can make a Warlock pretty substantial. I'm willing to say it.
I actually completely agree with you with the 8. So obviously I've continuously compared it to the Battle Master, where the maneuvers are super handy, but it's not the be all end all of the subclass. Now I understand that's a subclass, not a main class, but the invocations really enhance this class. I didn't realize how important it would be for the class, but it's vital for you to have any form of like impact, which I think was the biggest issue that we had last week, was the lack of impact you could have as a Warlock. That's my opinion of that has now completely changed. With 3 different invocations, you can attack 3 times and be deadly with them, and I like it. I think 8 is about fair. I'm curious about the subclasses now when we go off, when they're recorded and when we're having a look at them, to see if that kind of synergy is just amplified, like what's happened with the invocations. I'm now actually excited about the Warlock, which I'm delighted about. I was sad and that there was nothing really to look forward to with the Warlock, but it's given it, the class itself is nearly a foundation for the invocations, rather than it being the other way around.
Yeah, honestly. And I really can't wait to get into the subclasses, especially with the little bit of news that we do have. Ooh. So, next week's episode, we're going to have a special guest on with us, and that will be Josh over at Rolling Ones, has reached out to us and decided that he can probably tolerate our existence enough to talk about D&D for a little while. Hooray!
Yeah, no, it's good. We're having a guest that's someone who we don't play D&D with on a weekly basis, which would be nice. Yeah. So obviously, like, our D&D experiences are going to be really similar, except maybe Kane's, because I know he has another people. He's got another D&D group, but it'd be so interesting to see what I'm excited. It's his favorite class. It's his favorite subclass of this class. I'm excited.
So am I. It's gonna be awesome. Can't wait to have you on, and we will have some fun.
Exactly. But I think, dear listeners, that does bring us to the end of another session, where the dice are hard, the jokes are harder, and our standards are at an all-time low. If you enjoyed this chaos, be sure to follow, like, and subscribe. If not, at least we finished, even if you didn't. Goodbye.
Goodbye. Love you all.